Nearly 2 months ago, we rebuilt Newcastle United, unaware who they signed apart from Elanga at the time. At first, we thought Trafford was their new keeper. He ended up joining Man City as Ramsdale had joined Newcastle. We thought Ekitike was going to be Isak's replacement. Boy, was I wrong. So many players were rumored to come in. First, it was Šeško, then Vissa, then Strand Larsen, Mbeumo, Cunha, and now for a fee of 85 million euros, Newcastle United signed Nick Woltemade, a 6'6" tall striker who loves the ball at his feet and dribbles like he's 7 inches shorter. But the spending spree doesn't end there. Newcastle got Jacob Ramsey for 45 million and Malik Thiaw for 35 on top. After the loss against Liverpool, Newcastle might finally be ready for the season with their new signings. Can they push for a top 5 finish? Will Eddie Howe get the most out of these players? Let's find out. So let's start by slotting in these players into the right positions. We are looking obviously at Elanga down that right wing. First couple of games, I'm already liking what I'm seeing. He is absolutely rapid down that right-hand side. Such a dangerous player for this team. And now up top, things change as well. Alexander Isak might be free to go. It is Woltemade now coming in, 23 years old, 78 rated at this stage, 6'6". The fact that he doesn't have play styles is a disgrace. But I have a few things to say to Nick Woltemade. As someone from Germany, I can give you a little bit more information. To my right, you have the statistical comparison between Nick Woltemade and Ekitike. Two players, obviously, that Newcastle were interested in. One of them they got, the other one they didn't. But I feel like it's important to showcase this because we're looking at a player that is very similar in many categories. When it comes to successful take-ons, progressive passes, shot-creating actions, and expected assisted goals, these guys are nearly at the same level. But when we are looking at things that Woltemade excels at, he's looking at passes attempted, progressive passes as well, percentage of dribbles tackled, which is very impressive when you consider he is 6'6". Then we're looking at blocks, which also can be very important, especially when you come in on corners defensively. He could be blocking a lot of the space in defense. And we're looking at clearances as well. So once again, showcasing that he likes to drop deep and help out. Then also non-penalty goals. He is slightly ahead of Ekitike, whilst he does lose other categories, of course. But it showcases that Newcastle had a profile that they wanted to go for. And Woltemade kind of fits in, and I'm actually really happy for them. So with him at that number 9 position, we will go ahead and sell Isak. I truly do believe Newcastle United will sign one more striker. We'll get to that later on. But we also have the signing of Jacob Ramsey coming in from Aston Villa. I'm very impressed about the fact that they got him. This is such a talented player who sadly suffered a bunch of injuries, but maybe we can build him up into a great player here at Newcastle as well. And Malik Thiaw is basically the long-term replacement of Fabian Schär. So I'm going to put him straight in there. It is Malik Thiaw and Botman, who was wanted by AC Milan. 2 players with AC Milan ties, basically. 6'4" tall German centre-back who obviously is going to be best buddies with Woltemade now. So you now have 2 Germans in there, which is a good thing. And going down even further, we do have Ramsdale here, who is probably going to, I mean, is he going to play ahead of Pope? I would assume so, right? So he is right there. He can help out whenever Pope is injured or take over for us. And then you also have Antonito Cordero, who they signed as a new talented player for the future. To Newcastle, the deals that you've made, I'm very impressed. I think you've done great. And if you can sign one more striker to back up Woltemade or challenge him at least, you're in a really good spot. But lads, we still have 108 million to spend going into this new season. And one thing I also want to mention is, even though I'm a Liverpool fan, I massively respect Newcastle because back when you kicked us out of the Carabao Cup by beating us in the finale, I actually was happy that you guys won it because I feel like we have similar communities in terms of fans. I feel like up north, you know, these people act differently and it's more of a family feel. So I actually really appreciate what Newcastle has done so far. I really hope once this whole Isak deal is done that we can, you know, become friends again.
No. Don't like that.
There he goes. 86 rated Isak has now finally joined Liverpool. Let's see how it works out for him. In real life, I'll obviously be tracking that like a madman. When it comes to strikers, Johan Vissa is obviously still linked to Newcastle, and the same goes for Jørgen Strand Larsen from Wolves. But I feel like there is one issue. Let's address it. Borussia Dortmund have turned down the club record bid from Brentford for Maximilian Bayer, which means Brentford is currently incapable of finding a replacement for Johan Wissa, which makes it even more unlikely that they get him at the moment, even though he is on strike and not playing and all that stuff. Wolves are apparently about to sign Tolo Arakodare, a very talented striker from the Belgian league, for 27 million. That means they would technically be more likely to sell their striker. And Newcastle's bids for Strand Larsen initially had been turned down, but with this deal now coming through, maybe there's a chance. However, I have to warn you, when we compare Nick Woltemade to Strand Larsen, it is clear who is the superior player. Woltemade basically crushes him in everything except assists and clearances. So when people say Woltemade and Strand Larsen are pretty much the same player just because they're both tall, that is kind of not true. I mean, the stats, you see them. It's absolutely insane, the differences between these two. But hey, we're going to be signing Strand Larsen as a backup striker to Woltemade. Eddie Howe obviously wants to have at least 2 strikers in his team and not have to rely on the youngster Osula. But Strand Larsen now walks in for us for just 26.2 million. Obviously, Wolves have actually just triggered the buy option to get him into their team, and they're going to go ahead and profit from it straight away, it looks like. But he comes in at a 79 rating, which is quite interesting because Woltemade is lower rated. That is kind of rough, isn't it? So we'll have to see who grows faster, who goes ahead and takes over. But it is clear it should be Woltemade, and I'll make sure he gets that play time. I'll put development plans on him, while Strand Larsen will be unbalanced. That way, Woltemade grows faster, becomes the clear #1 in this team, and then from that point on, we can turn Larsen into a backup. But he does have decent amounts of pace, good shooting. I mean, he has decent dribbling, 6'4". He has a power header on him. And from watching him back in the Eredivisie, I can tell you, Strand Larsen was always a very, very good striker. And when he moved over to Spain, he looked pretty decent at Celta Vigo. And at Wolves, he has proven himself once again, especially now with Cunha gone. It was obviously even more that he had to deliver for Wolves in these past couple of weeks. But we are looking at a player that could be ideal for a team like Newcastle and offer something a bit different to Woltemade. But once again, I think if he is signed, he's not signed as a competitor. He's going to be a clear backup in this case. To start things off, let's loan out some of the youngsters. Cordero is going out on loan to Nantes. Miley is going across to Borussia Mönchengladbach in Germany. And Murphy, the talented player, is going over to Aberdeen in Scotland. Halfway through the season, Newcastle in the 5th position, 39 points. Liverpool in 3rd, 40. Let's play a game. So let's step onto the pitch against Alexander Isak. Of course, this had to happen. We had to play him. This was a must. And instantly, he plays it to Luis Diaz, who gets a decent chance to begin with. From that chance, they actually get a corner. I cannot get the ball away, and Luis Diaz steps up. Why are you still at Liverpool, pal? You should be at Bayern Munich. Anyways, let's move on with the game. Here we go. Now it is Anthony Gordon sprinting through. And instead of Newcastle receiving a red card, it might just be Liverpool this time. The referee has a big decision to make, and he gives him the red card, putting Liverpool down to 10 men. And that was obviously the moment we had to push forward. Woltemade, a big chance. Mamardashvili is too good in that situation. Elanga once again finds his striker. Woltemade is through, 32 minutes in, has to score. Doesn't even hit the target. Is this the wrong transfer for Newcastle? Come on, lad. You got to step up. Woltemade back to Joelinton. Back to him again. Good passing play. Tonali looking for the striker again. Outside the box this time. He blasts it top bins. 1-1. 48 minutes in. And for whatever reason celebrates with Liverpool fans. But let's ignore that. We're moving on. 82nd minute. Alexander Isak inside the box. Falls down. Botman takes him out. And a penalty is given. This could be it. Mo Salah scores. It is 2-1 Liverpool. A 10-man Liverpool team could possibly beat us. I made some changes straight away. It is Tonali outside the box. Hits the crossbar. And guess what? Strand Larsen got subbed on and scores the equaliser for us away from home. I know it is 10-man Liverpool, but still, I'm happy that we didn't lose. And of course, Isak had his moment, but so did Woltemade. Well, lads, at least in Season 1, we have been able to finish in the top 4. 69 points, just ahead of Arsenal, thanks to the goal difference. So signing someone like Thiaw and also improving the attack has helped with that. In the game, however, Newcastle qualified for Europa League rather than Champions League football because the 5th position isn't given Champions League football yet. I hope they figure that out in the future. But we lost in the semi-finals against Sparta Praha. I couldn't believe that. And they then lost against Milan in the finale. Would have been great to try and win a European trophy, but hopefully that's something we can go after later. Another very important thing is, take a look at that. Alexander Isak, 21 goals. We want to make sure that Voltemade does outperform Isak somewhere down the line. And let's find out where he is actually. Let's go down. Oh, Voltemade, where are you? Gordon is in there in the 10th position. Strand Larsen is in there in the 12th position. Oh no, it actually played Strand Larsen. Voltemade on an 82, and the same goes for Strand Larsen, 82 rated as well. So I guess there's a bit of a battle going on between the two. The rest of the team, I mean, I love this team. I think Newcastle have a class squad, but there are a few things that I can look at and be like, okay, they need improvements, okay? So in the striking position, we have 2 strikers now. On the wings, we have the likes of Gordon, we have Barnes, we have Ramsey, we have Murphy. I think we're fine there for now. But then as we go into the midfield, Guimaraes, Tonali, and Joelinton, especially those 2 right there, have such a high level. And when you look at the replacements for them, we're looking at Willock, and that's it, because Miley's out on loan. So we need to address that in the upcoming season. In total, Strand Larsen has 28-4 on him, Gordon 22-7, Elanga 16-5, Murphy 13-9 as a substitution. This guy's on fire. A bunch of contracts expiring. Dan Burn, Lascelles, Kraft, Vlachodimos, Target, Thompson, MacArthur, all of these players are gonna be gone for the next season, so we need to sign a bunch to replace them. Well, I got 213 million to spend. All right, Newcastle, you need a centre-back, and Frankfurt likes selling. Arthur Teate is now coming in as a backup centre-back, or even someone who can challenge for a spot in this team. He could easily turn into a fan favorite just because of his hair. Comes in at 34.6 million. Price rating, I don't even care, but the actual rating, an 82. So we have Botman on an 84, Tia on an 83, and now we're bringing in an 82 rated centre-back who has done quite well at Frankfurt in this past season. 26 years old, left-footed, so he can play on that left-hand side for Botman if needed, and he can even play as a left-back, actually. And he does have the power header, the aerial play style as well. So those 2 things really work well in a team like Newcastle United who like to be physical. So in my opinion, down the line, next summer, they should be all over this guy. If there's one player outside of the Premier League who's English, who I feel like is destined to play for Newcastle, the play style that he has, the way he works so hard on the pitch, can attack and defend, it is Conor Gallagher. I think this is a must for Newcastle United down the line. I know he could be expensive. I know Chelsea fans kind of want him back. I know Crystal Palace wants him back. But Newcastle United, if they keep developing this squad, bringing in someone like Conor Gallagher would be such a good move. I genuinely think it would upgrade that midfield again. Don't get me wrong, I like Joelinton. I really do. But Tonali and Guimaraes are just a different breed. And if you want someone like Joelinton to come on and cause a bit of havoc, yes, have at it. But for me, this is the one, man. So Conor Gallagher now comes in on that left center midfield position, 26 years old. He has all the stats you would ever want for a center midfielder and more in terms of the play styles as well. He'd be perfect for a team like Newcastle. And coming in at the age of 26, still so much time to go, could become an absolute legend in this squad. So I think this just makes too much sense. Am I wrong? Do you guys feel like Conor Gallagher would fit in? I think it would be perfect for this team. But there he is. He's back in the Prem. And lads, now FA Cup finale. It is us up against a strong side in the likes of Ipswich. Yes, you didn't expect me to say that, did ya? But the gameplay will show you. Ipswich was on top of things. Guimaraes over to Gallagher. Gallagher, Voltemade is through. Beautiful skill move. How's the score? Hits the goalkeeper. We need him to be more clinical. Elanga, header. Tia on the ball. Finds Gallagher. He goes for the fake shot inside and slots it past the keeper with so much composure. That is all happening before the second half even begins. And, well, in the second half, Ipswich actually equalised with Omari Hutchinson. He strikes it into the right side of the net. Gordon looks for Gallagher. Gallagher now in space once again. It's the post in the 93rd minute, which meant we had to go into extra time to beat Ipswich Town. I would have never thought that, but here we are. Voldemort is through once more and just about misses the target. He has to become more clinical as we go into penalties. And they score, and we score. We're down to 2-1 now, and Voldemort misses. I mean, the goalkeeper saves his shot, but still at the end of the day, he is the one that misses, and no one else does. So we lose thanks to a Voldemort miss. Look, I don't even want to spend too much time with this season. The fact that we just lost that FA Cup finale drives me mad. But we have coming into that third place. Improvement, 74 points. Once again, ahead of Arsenal. Liverpool win the league title, with, of course, Alexander Isak performing for them. In fact, he has got 19 goals and 9 assists for his new team. But our team is going to get there, trust me. I mean, the ratings are ridiculous. 88, 85, 86, 89, 88, 87. The fact that we are part of the top 4 doesn't surprise me anymore. And by the way, Pope is now 35 years old. We need to sort that goalkeeping position out for the future. We do have Ramsdale on an 82. He's 29. We could give him that playtime and build someone up behind him. But if I want to compete at the top level, I think that goalkeeping position might be holding myself back a little bit. This year, Trippier is actually going ahead and retiring as well. Goodbye, pal. Just seen a couple of the new clips of this goalkeeper. This is, of course, Mike Penders. He's basically the next Courtois. And we have paid 30 million to get him in. I believe he's a Chelsea player, but we all know Chelsea likes to sell players. So let's bring him into this team at a 79 rating. Yes, 79, because I'm going to give Ramsdale a chance if of course, Pope drops massively. For now, Pope is the number 1, Ramsdale is the number 2, and then Penders is going to be our number 3 that we're going to build up. I'm going to send him out on loan, and hopefully by the time he comes back, he can be an easy starter for us. And another backup for the depth of the squad is going to be Mavisa, my friends. The Monaco defender is now walking through the doors for just 25 million. I actually don't know what his rating is at this point, but all I know is he's talented. 79, perfect. So, as you can tell, Chet has dropped down to a 77 rating. We need someone to come in and help us out there. So he's going to be the one. We obviously also have now Penders. We have Cordero back from his loan deal on a 77. And we have Lewis Miley, who I think is class. He's going to be coming in to grow as a center midfielder in this team. But Mavisa, left-footed. Oh, again, left-footed. I didn't know that. Okay, well, should have brought in a right-footed player. But anyways, we have 2 backup center-backs now. It's okay. I mean, who cares, man? If you have 2 left-footers, if you have 2 right-footers, no one complains. Now Newcastle are at the top of the league table, a couple of points ahead of Liverpool. And so far, Voldemort had some bad moments. I need him to step up. Initially, 60th minute, first shot is saved. Then Gordon goes again for him. Another one saved. Even though we tried our best, we couldn't get him to score, apart from the 84th minute, where he turns beautifully and just strikes it into the bottom left corner and starts dancing with his teammates. Eddie Howe is finally happy to see his striker have such a huge impact, and this time we actually beat Liverpool. But lads, despite beating Liverpool and basically making Isak look silly, we only come in second at the end of the season. After that victory, our season seems to have fallen apart, but generally speaking, we are continuously improving. And that is a really good thing, I guess. We've scored 88 goals, which is the most in the league. And when we look at the starting 11, Gordon on a 90 right now. Same goes for Guimaraes, and then after that, no one else. Pope has actually grown. How does he do that? I'm impressed. Voldemort up to an 87 at the age of 26. Strand Larsen up to an 84 at this stage. Mavisa, Penders, and all the backups are looking quite solid, which I'm very happy with. One thing I do realize, however, is the fact that I don't have a single backup for the fullback positions. Right back and left back, we don't have anyone useful there. I mean, Teate could technically play as a left back if needed, but I need to sign someone. At least one fullback needs to come in next season. And in terms of goals, we have Anthony Gordon smashing it, 42 and 11, 33 Premier League goals, which means he is the top scorer this season, ahead of Isak. He actually beat Isak before Voldemort could, who finally actually is playing consistently, 19 and 7, but I'm sure we can make it even better in the upcoming seasons. And when it comes to age, how are we looking right now? Okay, Pope obviously very old, but apart from that, we're in a good spot right now. A lot of experienced players. So let's bring in a right back then, lads. It is Rivaldo Reed from Feyenoord. I'm actually surprised that he hasn't moved yet, but sometime in the future it will probably happen. Coming in from Dortmund at this point for 35.4 million at a rating of 80. A perfect backup to someone like Livramento, which I'm very happy to welcome into our squad. I guess I'm going to take Murphy off the bench for that one. Put him in there. He is 22 years old at this stage, 85 pace, 5'9", no play styles, but I'm pretty sure that will change in FC 26. The next season, lads, we are looking at a team that has won the Premier League title. Newcastle United have finally done it. After 38 games, we're on 81 points ahead of Manchester City, this time scoring 81 goals alongside it. Top scoring list, only Fabio Silva is ahead of Nick Woltemade, but as we go down, we should be seeing... Oh, no Isak. Maybe he was injured this season. But our squad has gone up really nicely in their ratings. It has become truly world-class, except the goalkeeping position. Pope has finally dropped down. Where's Penders? Up to an 85. That's what we like to see. So Pope is probably going to retire, and Ramsdale is going to become the backup goalkeeper for us as we're looking into a bright future with Penders, who truly could be the next Courtois. Looks incredible at this stage, but he's also very good with his feet. His passing play looks ridiculous. But anyways, with him now in the team, I think we are going to be going for big trophies very soon. The Premier League is locked up, but when we go over into the Champions League, you realize that we have lost. Last season, I think it was AC Milan. This season, I believe it might have been Inter. So PSG wins the Champions League. Round of 16, we lost against Inter. Yeah, last season it was AC Milan. So the city of Milan is a struggle for us. Anyhow, we'll be proud to see that Anthony Gordon has continued his great performances alongside Nick Woltemade. And then Elanga, 24 and 13. Bruno, 8 and 14. We have some beasts in this squad. The Premier League is hella competitive, and we struggled. We actually came in second this time behind Manchester City, but still ahead of Liverpool, which I guess is good enough. Community Shield belongs to us. FA Cup goes to Liverpool. Carabao Cup seemingly goes to Brentford. And well, in the Champions League, we initially came second, and then in the round of 16 faced Leverkusen, beat them. Quarterfinals, we played against Wolfsburg, beat them too. Semi-finals, it was PSG, and now we're going to be facing Manchester City, who have taken away that Premier League title by just 3 points in the Champions League finale. This is perfect. Guess what? Top scorer in the Champions League is Woltemade, followed by Gordon. And in the Premier League, Woltemade is up top once again. This is what we want to see. This is why they spent so much money on him. And well, ratings-wise, this is ridiculous. I mean, this is such a strong team at this point, with Penders up to an 87. The rest, the bench looks solid. We have so many great players in here. I think this Newcastle team, if things are going right in the next few years, they could genuinely go ahead and still compete for the top 4 season after season. And then if they are allowed to spend money as well, which the Saudis would love to, it's gonna get interesting. Let's see what the guys from Abu Dhabi have done. Manchester City, obviously owned by the UAE, basically. Haaland is up top. Echeverri, Miguel Gutierrez, Savinho, Rodrigo Perone. Okay, O'Reilly. Jonathan Tah is part of the team. Diogo Costa. Foden, Luis Skelly on the bench. Now, those two have to play. Oh, seems like we're playing at the Santiago Bernabeu as well as we go into this game, lads. Liverpool against Arsenal is going to happen. At this point, when I'm recording, I'm just a few hours away from the game starting. I think like 7 hours. I'm hella nervous. I'm really nervous. So if you're seeing this, which you probably will, after the video has gone up, after the game has happened already, I really hope that I'm going to be in a state of joy, you know? Just been enjoying Liverpool beating Arsenal. The best thing that could happen in that Arsenal game is Liverpool do not concede somehow, especially from set pieces. And on top of it, Florian Wirtz gets at least a goal and an assist. And people stop talking negatively about him, about my boy from Leverkusen. But now, let's focus on ourselves. Let's see if we can win the biggest trophy of them all with Newcastle United. Alecchio trying to stop Savinho. Oh, no. Haaland inside the box, through the legs of my keeper. No way that just happened. Haaland made that look way too easy right there. My tackle just didn't work against Savinho, and then the other tackle. Oh my God, Bruno fell to the floor. How bad is that? Bruno, nice pass. Elanga needs support. Finds Voltemada down the wing. He likes to dribble. He goes for the pass inside. Gallagher. Voltemade, yes, there he is. 1-1 right before half-time. The new signing of Newcastle United is the man to take us back into this game. Beautiful movement of the ball inside the box. 2 passes, and Voltemade on his left foot slots it in. Bruno, lovely. Voltemade, yes, he's through. Oh, let's go. 2-1 going into the second half. The big man can dribble. Nice tackle. Bruno losing against Haaland again. Echeverri, good chance. Oh no, we're completely open after the corner kick. Conor Gallagher, you're the one I've chosen to defend this, pal. Rodri could have crossed it in, he doesn't. There's an opening, and Haaland actually gets the equalizer. Man, I cannot believe he actually went through right there. Beautiful pass from their midfielder to find Haaland, and Lewis Hall falls too short with that tackle. Go on, Bruno. Elanga outside the box. Why not give it a try? Elanga could be through. Gordon is going to take the shot himself and nearly become a hero. Elanga is here for the corner. Cuts across. Lobs it up. It's Conor Gallagher. We're going into extra time. Couple of changes going into the extra time. Joe Linton comes on. Ribeiro Reid on the right alongside Jacob Ramsey. Nice read. Well read, I guess. Here we go. Down the left, Gallagher. Over to Gordon. Gordon does have the pace burst, but doesn't necessarily have the legs left in him anymore. Except now, maybe. What a ball! Voltemade for a hat-trick in a Champions League finale. The German 6'6" tall striker is the hero for Newcastle United. What a ball from Conor Gallagher to find his teammate once again. Oh, no way. I'm going to concede again. Yes, Penders. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, no way. Stop him. Thank you, Penders. Once more. We're into the second half of extra time, man. We need to survive here. Yes, it's done. We have won the Champions League 3-2 against Manchester City. What a game that was. And because Bruno got subbed off, Conor Gallagher is going to be the one lifting the trophy. The perfect player for a team like Newcastle United, in my opinion. That transfer has to happen one day. And the Ballon d'Or winner is Nick Voltemade. I didn't get the ceremony for whatever reason, but he has actually pulled it off, and I want to congratulate him for it. He has been an amazing player. Initially started off slow, but then now he's a legend of Newcastle United. And who knows? Maybe that is something that's to come. He seems very appreciative of the Newcastle fans already in all the interviews I've seen of him. I'm actually very happy that Newcastle are seemingly getting Voltemade right now. And just now I've seen the news that Johan Vissa has put out a tweet or Instagram basically saying that he wants to leave Brentford. So maybe instead of Strand Larsen, it's actually going to be still Vissa joining them, which would be great. A completely different profile of striker compared to Voltemade. But lads, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all. Have a good one. Take care and peace.